Hey y'all, it's Christy here with Second Chance Kitchen, and today is Halloween, so happy Halloween. I have my Jack shirt on, and I'll change it to my glow-in-the-dark shirt for when we take the kids trick-or-treating later. But it is our tradition to do chili for dinner every Halloween, chili and cornbread. So I thought, why not try an estate style recipe for chili this year? Normally I make mine with, I put beans and some zucchini in it and things like that to kind of beef it up for the kids and sneak in some fiber and protein where I can. But I'm going to try this chili recipe. It's obviously looked like it's been well loved, and can kind of hard to read this part right here, but I think I can manage to see what it is, just like salt and pepper seasonings and things. So anyway, let's make some chili together. I am going to get some meat browning. It calls for 2 pounds of meat. I will take a picture and link the recipe down below. So make sure you check that out if you don't want to follow along and write it all out while I'm doing it. So 2 pounds of meat. I have ground sirloin. It's 90-10 is what I bought. And the directions say to brown meat and drain the grease. So I will do that, but I will vary a little. Normally I like to do the recipes word for word, just as they're written, and don't make any type of changes to it. And I'll note the changes later on. But this time I cannot cook ground beef without putting some type of seasoning in it. Ever since having kids, it's just one of those things I can't stand the smell. So I will just add my staples, just a little bit of salt, pepper, garlic, and onion powder to it. So I'm going to get this meat cooking, and while it's browning, I'm going to go ahead and chop up this whole tomatoes. Probably could have skipped this step and just bought some diced tomatoes, but you know, I like to follow the recipe, so I will chop up these whole tomatoes, and 2 cloves of garlic is what it calls for. And that's pretty much all the prep you really need besides spices and a can of tomato sauce. So let me read you the recipe real quick. Like I said, I will link it below so you can just read it or print it off or whatever you like. So you need 2 pounds of meat, 1 small can of tomato sauce, 1 can of whole tomato with juice, 2 cloves of garlic, 6 tablespoons of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of cumin powder, 1 bay leaf, I believe it says 1 teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of ground pepper, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that part. I can't read it. It's this part right here that's real kind of, you know, wet. It got wet, I'm assuming. Anyways, but it also does say to use the tomato juice can, and fill it up six times with water. And that's what you're gonna add to the chili as it's cooking. So I'm gonna start with this ground beef, and I'll be back. Okay, so I'm back, and now that I have my meat browning, it's almost brown, but not quite. It's cooked, but I would not consider this brown. Let me show you. See if you can see it. There we go. There's the meat. So while it's done, I'd like to have it a little more brown. Get that flavor going in there. And yes, don't make fun of my pan. It does not have a handle any longer. It came off. But I love this pan, and I just don't want to give it up. Anyway, so while that's cooking for a few more minutes, I have put in my pot the can of tomatoes chopped, along with the juice that came in, the 1 can of tomato sauce, and 5 cans of water. It was kind of hard to see all that earlier when I was trying to read the recipe. But I've gone back and looked, and yes, I pulled up my hair. I know people are weird about that, even though I'm cooking for my family. I did do that. So again, this is the part that was kind of hard to read, but what it says is 1 teaspoon of salt, and then a half a teaspoon of pepper, half of an onion chopped. I forgot that part. So that does say that half an onion chopped, and then the 5 cans of water of the tomato sauce. So that is what I have in the pot. Let's go ahead and, add the rest of the ingredients over there. Let's see. I'm not very good at this whole filming thing, so bear with me. All right, in this I have 6 tablespoons of chili powder. I have 1 teaspoon of cumin. I have the salt and the pepper, and that's it. That's all that's in there. So let's add that in, as it says to stir it and then add everything else. So there is all of that. I have also put the 2 cloves of garlic in already. And then here is my bay leaf and my half of an onion chopped. Whoops. What fun is cooking if you don't make a mess while doing it, right? All right, that's done. So let's turn that up a bit because it says to do it separately. So I'm going to put that on medium heat for right now. Give that a stir. All that chili powder mixed in. Okay. There's that. All right, now while my meat cooks for another few minutes, and then it says to add the meat to the pot. So I will do that. And honestly, I don't understand. Well, I guess I can, but I would make this all in one pot. Cook the meat first, add everything in. Simplicity is best, right? Normally I make my chili in the crock pot, so it's cooking all day and it's ready for when we're ready to eat. But today I'm cooking ahead of time because it does take 2 hours to simmer. Once it's all together, it takes 2 hours to simmer. And then if you want to thicken it up, you can add some flour to it and let it cook about another 15 minutes or so is what the recipe says. Again, normally I would put cornstarch and do that, but I'll use flour, some all-purpose flour, and to see how that turns out. And this way we can just warm it up later on when it's time to eat after homework's done. Hopefully the kids don't have homework today. That would be nice. But all right, so I will get this all mixed up and I will be back. So I would say the meat is browned and the liquid is simmering nicely. So the instructions say to add the meat once it's simmering. So let's go ahead and do that. I'm just going to use my spoon and take the meat out since I don't have a handle on my skillet. Put that in there. So what do you think? Does chili have beans in it or no? Are you a bean fan in your chili? Or do you just like the meat? I mean, obviously the meat's always going to be just better, right? But I always put beans in it and some veggies if possible. Like, I don't use the whole zucchini. I like to put zucchini in it. Just, I'll cut off like the skin part, so the green side is in there. But I cut it up really small. Of course, the kiddos don't mind it that way. Sometimes I put corn in it. I guess maybe it's more like a soup. I don't know. Anyway, okay, there's that. Stir this up. And this is the chili. I'm gonna cover it and it's going to simmer for 2 hours. So again, I'm making this ahead of time, so all we have to do is warm this up later when it's time to eat. Because we have to pick up the kids at school. And I can't let it simmer if I'm not here to watch it. There's a bay leaf in here somewhere. Can't see it, can't find it. I'm sure it'll show up. Anyway, so this is the chili, and hopefully this turns out good because we do love our chili around here. Let's put a top on this thing and set it for 2 hours. All right, so when we come back, I guess I will have a taste tester to try it out and give an honest opinion, because if one of my kiddos does it, I am pretty sure that the boy is going to do it and he is going to go, he's going to do this thing. And it's either going to be good or not good. That's just how he rolls. Anyway, so thank you for joining me. Again, I will put a copy of the recipe in the comments or in the description below, and hopefully it comes out good. Thanks for joining me, and we'll see you in a bit. Okay, this is what it looks like. Oh, sorry for the heat. After simmering for 2 hours, I'm going to add some flour to it and see how it thickens up. Okay, we'll be back. Okay, I'm back. The chili is done. I did add 1 tablespoon of flour to it, like the instructions said, and it didn't really thicken it up at all. So I did add some cornstarch with a little slurry, and it thickened it up pretty good. Not something I normally do because it's not written in the directions, but I went ahead and did it anyway because it didn't seem like a thick chili to me. All right, so taste test time. I'm not going to taste it. I'm going to let the boy taste it. So let me turn this around and you can watch him give his honest first taste review. Hang on a second. Okay, here's the boy.
Hi.
All right, there's the chili. Try it.
It's good. It's really yummy, but it's just not really thick. But my mom always makes it thick, sort of. But it's not that thick, but it's really good.
Do you like it with no beans?
I love it with no beans.
No beans. Is it spicy?
No, just has a hint of spiciness.
Hint of spiciness? All right, so is it a thumbs up or what do you give it? Thumbs up. All right, thanks for joining, and hopefully we'll try another recipe coming up. All right, thanks. Bye.